2021, the Canada Green Building Council published a report that said for Canada to achieve its 2030 and 2050 climate targets, building owners and operators will need to upgrade, retrofit, and ultimately decarbonize hundreds of millions of square meters of space. That's because buildings account for roughly 28% of energy-related greenhouse gas emissions. The scale of the challenge is massive.
There's hundreds of millions of square feet that need to be retrofitted. Something like 482,000 commercial buildings across Canada. And when you try to break that down into number of projects per year, it's a staggering number. So time is of the essence. We need to jump on this as quick as possible and start nipping away at the decarbonization goals.
You heard that right, 482,000 buildings. The federal government estimates that this will require an investment of around $20 to $32 billion annually. At this point, we're nowhere near that amount of retrofit activity, so it's a huge challenge. But it's also an opportunity. The Green Building Council's report estimates that large building retrofits can reduce emissions from the sector by up to 51%, or 21 million tons of carbon per year. And the retrofits are not only good for the environment, they're good business because they can improve a building's market value and the rents it can command. Buildings that have been retrofitted are functionally better than those that have not, and their values increase much the same way improvements to your home increase its value. Evidence suggests that so-called brown discounts on older buildings that have not been retrofitted can be 30% or higher, negatively impacting a real estate portfolio. And tenants are demanding sustainable buildings. A 2023 report from Deloitte identified sustainability, or lack thereof, as a deal-breaking issue for many tenants. 58% said they would look for alternative leases if their existing landlord failed to meet net zero goals, and nearly half said they would look for early lease termination in that scenario. Even though retrofitting your building to make it more sustainable is a smart business move, it can be an overwhelming process. This is where PCL Construction brings its greatest value to clients. Our experience with retrofits, combined with our experience with estimating, budgeting, scheduling, logistics, and project delivery, provides returns.
If we can get in and understand what's really driving the client to make these changes, we can provide certainly the best value. We can do some pro forma analysis, we can do building condition assessment analysis, we can do some market data analysis. All these things will help the client make the right choice in an effort to return the best possible result for the decarbonization project.
Although meeting our carbon reduction goals is literally a race against time, trying to figure out how to do so can be a daunting task. Despite the difficult road ahead, some companies are rising to the challenge and leading the way.
Our product, Buildings, has kept on evolving, and PCL has, I think quite wisely, put people in place in-house to make sure we can unpack that complexity enough to provide accurate insight to our clients. And that's where our strength is. We have our subject matter experts under structure, building envelope, building systems, elevator. These people give us the insights to make sure the complexities are actually talked about at the table. They're baked into the schedule. The superintendents know what needs to be done. The suppliers know what they need to provide.
PCL provides services that go beyond the traditional scope of a general contractor. These include building condition assessments, the gathering and analysis of market data, and robust costed options as clients enter the project planning phase. We also bring a wealth of experienced partners to the table.
We talked about our early involvement using our in-house experts at the onset of a project to collaborate and find tangible solutions in through the construction. But we also rely on our trade partners. The wealth of knowledge that industry brings is an incredible tool that having the depth of resources and the depth of relationship that we have in the industry is something that we tap into regularly for solutions to these types of challenges.
PCL has completed a wide variety of retrofit projects. One example is the HSBC Tower in downtown Edmonton, where we helped the client transition from a Class C to a Class AA building by replacing the curtain wall with a triple glaze system and upgrading mechanical components. The owner ended up with an asset that functioned better and was worth more. In Calgary, we worked with a client to complete an office to residential conversion, turning an old office tower into 82 affordable homes and upgrading its building systems and envelope. And in Hamilton, we completed the largest Retrofit certified residential retrofit project in the world with the 18-story Ken Sobel Tower.
We pulled out 94% of the annual energy on an affordable housing complex for seniors. That's about as meaningful as a project can be in terms of changing the built environment for our cities. When these sort of older buildings that are being used for affordable housing can really make a better place to live and really uplift the community as well. That building, that's a 94% reduction in energy. We completely reclad it. We got rid of the balconies, which were giving off a great deal of heat through the concrete connection to the core. A number of M&E upgrades, including heat pumps for the units. Just a truly magnificent upgrade that we're still monitoring to this day.
That monitoring is ongoing because much of a building's life cycle carbon emissions will come during the decades that it is occupied and in operation. Using a suite of measuring devices, owners and operators can now know everything their project is doing and react as necessary. This has made the handoff portion of every project more important than ever.
We want to be there for the commissioning, and importantly, we want to be there for the handoff to the building operations and maintenance staff that will run the building in the future to try to achieve those goals of decarbonization and reduce the energy consumption of the building.
Meeting the new demand for retrofits and decarbonization is going to require new perspectives and strategies if we're going to meet targets for carbon reduction. But through partnerships, investments in technology, and proven experience, PCL is helping to chart the road to net zero.